Hey, check up. Let's play some D. Welcome to episode 30 of Play Some D, my weekly installment of four different topics. Put them in four quarters. And this week is kind of just for episode 30. This one makes a lot of sense. Um, First, cheers to 30, and the crowd goes wild. Episode 30 once again, as I mentioned to start this off, but this one being 30 kind of encapsulate a lot of what Play Some D has been for the first 30, 29 episodes, shall I say. Uh, the concept was always going to be sports, music, and movies. As I've always mentioned, that sports, the idea of this originally was sports, movies, and music, and I have two sports topics. I have movies, TV, entertainment, all kind of jumbled up and together. I never had really the inclination for like the news and stuff like that, but it's become a big part of what I do. So I do like to stay engaged with news and politics and up on current events and all that nature. And then it just evolved, I want to say, in my sleep before I did the first episodes, that variety is the spice of life. And especially for me, I love variety. So this episode has all of that, but really on a basic level. So it really is 30 for me. I feel like this is the perfect for 30. I go in overtime sometimes. It's the fifth topic. Not today, but the two sports topics are the WNBA Finals, which I got to shout out, you know, WNBA. NBA begins on the 19th, and the Great Resignation. I want to talk about that. And lastly, one of my favorite TV shows on television is Billions, and it just wrapped up season 5 and headed into season 6. So I'll talk about Billions as well. So yeah, all cool stuff. And as always, 30 episodes in, I'm rocking. I'm gonna keep it moving, keep it going. I'm gonna switch some things up a little bit here with the presentation and some stuff like that, and hopefully it'll evolve and grow and be bigger, better, and badder. But as of right now, this is super fun for me. As always, if you don't mind, drop a like, you can drop a sub, notifications, or you can just do the best of best and check me out. Watch it. Check me out. Check me out. But yeah, I'm not gonna hold this up any longer. Let's go ahead and get into first quarter. The first quarter is all about the Great Resignation, which they're calling it. And I want to first say that one of my earlier episodes, I talked about working from home and how working from home was a big thing. I thought people needed to. I thought people needed to be able to work from home, and it kind of almost led into. Let me check something really quick. Yeah, working from home almost led into, or not allowing people to work from home, kind of leads into this great resignation. I mean, I kind of touched on like be careful how you treat your employees and what you allow them to do and how people have been working from home now, better quality of life, less stress, less traffic, all that stuff digs into this. But the term just seems a little bit of a just kind of like a fear tactic, but I think it was always building up. This eventually was going to happen, as a lot of people have always said and keep saying that the pandemic just accelerated things that were inevitable that were going to happen. But pretty much the pandemic allowed people to get they got some federal dollars and they realized how much money they should be making, what they're worth. People were able to sit down and actually calculate themselves and figure out like, man, what am I doing? Where's my life going? I could essentially die from this disease and what have I been doing, but just running in circles and all that good stuff. So it just, and people were stressed and but they were all, people were mixed up in just that, the daily routine. So it was hard to think about it. And, so the headline is interesting, but I just think it's more so, instead of like jumping on the topic of Great Resignation, I think you should just skip that whole aspect and just figure out how to make people, you know, putting energy into the idea of people resigning um, and why it should just be why and fix it, not the idea of just people resigning. You got to figure out why this hasn't been working, because if they're resigning, I mean, this is probably something that just didn't pop up. You got to fix the issues and get people working in a more healthy environment. But that's just my opinion on it. Just some of the things there's, 4 million. So it started in, like I said, it was right after one of my episodes. I talked about work from home. It says in April, the record number of workers who quit their job in a single month broke an all-time U.S. record. They called it then the Great Resignation. It was just getting started. In July, even more people left their job. In August, another record was set. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, they call it quits, which is also another, just guess you got to label it something, but quits just seems like such a negative term. Once again, just not helping the problem. Nearly 7% of employees in accommodation and food service left their job in August. That means 1 in 14 hotel clerks, restaurant servers, and bar backs said sayonara in a single month. I am reading off of an Atlantic article. I have an Atlantic and a Harvard Business Review article that just you can obviously pop in Google and run through all of this different stuff. Um, but it says American labor 20th century workers stay in one job for 40 years and retire with the gold watch. But that's a total myth. The truth is people in the 60s and 70s quit their jobs more often than they have in the past 20 years, and the economy was better off for it. I always kind of felt that way. I always felt like people were kind of put into a position where you couldn't quit. I was listening to, um, I don't know why I can't think of the name of the show right now. Um, oh man, I can't think of the name of the show, but the lady was talking about how people just felt like, she was a special guest. She just wrote a book. I want to say her name's Jennifer Moss, but I might be wrong about that. And she just mentioned how people just felt like they couldn't do anything. People felt trapped. People felt like they were stuck in, a process of not having a choice. And I just think that should never feel that way. You should never be in a lifestyle where you feel like you don't have a choice, even if, I was just kind of speaking with Barbara about it. He was saying based on the choices that you previously made, you feel like you can't make new choices now because of the choices you previously made. And I think you should always have a choice in life, regardless, or feel like you always do have a choice, but you always feel like you have a choice in life, regardless of what choices you made before, unless you're, you know, you do something criminal, you're in jail. That's a whole different story. But if you have freedom of will to do what you need to do, I think you should always feel like you have a choice, and you should be able to make choices, not necessarily spur of the moment, but calculated and planned out, where you shouldn't be, be stuck in situations. And these articles touch on a number of different things, from managers, pay. We all know all that, the big stuff. But the Harvard Business Review model kind of directed at who was driving the resignation. It says resignation rates are the highest among mid-career employees. 30 to 45 had the greatest increase in resignation rates. Average increased more than 20% between 2020 and 2021. The resignations are the highest in tech and healthcare industries. Resignation actually decreased slightly in industries such as manufacturing, finance, 3%, 3.6 more healthcare employees quit, and in tech, resignation increased by 4.5. Healthcare, you can see tech. It depends. Tech could be super stressful, just dependent. That's a lot of the startups and things of that nature. Um, then quantifying the problem, identify the root cause, develop tailored retention programs. That once again, those are the things that this should be all about. It really shouldn't be about the topic of Great Resignation. That's just how I feel. I feel like okay, we recognize people are quitting, people aren't happy. How do we fix that? Let's not label it or anything like that. We can tell the numbers. We can say what it is. We don't have to make it a thing. Let's fix the issue, because economy and working and having a livelihood is bigger than just making it a talking point and clicks and things of that nature. I think it should be a more important topic, and I think people should really want to drill down on the issues, because it trickles down to everything from homelessness to healthcare to health, proper food you can get, all that stuff. So I think it just should be more than just. I think no energy should be wasted on things of talking points that don't matter. It should be all about how to fix this, how to get people comfortable, healthy, their mind in the right place, and figure out how you in every manner people we all have to work, whether it's for $1 or something. People have to work, but to keep something moving, to keep something progressing, going forward, being able to buy stuff, earn stuff, trade stuff. No matter how the economy is set up, you got to be able to work and do something for it. But people just can't be. But majority of people, or even overwhelming, or just even a good amount of people, just can't be miserable doing it. I just don't think is the way, and never really should have been how this all got going. And now that's why the pandemics, got this jump started. Yeah, it may not have happened in 2022 or 2023. I mean, it could have been 2024. This was coming. It was on its way. People were waking up, shifting. A lot of people were talking. The internet is a place where a lot of people conjure together and start to, pull up ideas. And, the pandemic just, I said, a lot of people were sitting in the house. A lot of people were isolated, not doing nothing. And I wanted to say a bad word there. I didn't. But a lot of people weren't doing anything. And, yeah, that's and then too. This is a topic. As I said, it's a touchy topic, and you could talk about it all different ways. I'm not, and I feel like I'm not an expert or study this or none of the case. I mean, I know people. We all know people. We all have family, friends. Everybody works, so you do have I think everybody that's worked and as an adult has some kind of perspective on work, the work situation, work life balance, money being paid, health care, what you can and can't buy, what apartment you can and can't afford, and mortgages and things of that nature. So it's deep, it's embedded, it's very, very, very important. So I think everybody can help. I think everybody's opinion is good, but people that end up making the decisions about how either this gets turned around or not, I hope they have some good studies and are listening to the right people. So that's that. And let's have a little fun. Quarter number 2 is the 2021 NBA season. This is going to be a fun one. Last year was a fun one. This is going to be a fun one. We are going to miss out, looks like, on Kyrie Irving, possibly. He may change his stance as of right now. He is not involved, but that still leaves the Brooklyn Nets as the odds-on favorite to win at plus 240. I'll do some futures really quick and kind of speak on them. Lakers are second, Warriors are third, Bucks are fourth, Phoenix are 5, Utah is 6, Clippers are 7, Sixers are 8, and then the rest of these teams I just think are all crapshoots. Utah, I always think they're way too high. They should not be there. They are tied with the Sixers at plus 1,600. So all those teams, Sixers, Clippers, and Jazz are all 1,600. I think Jazz probably like 2,000 plus 2,000, something like that. Everything else looks right. Brooklyn, Lakers, Warriors, and Milwaukee. They are the favorites, and I think it's just fair to put the Suns there. As long as they're healthy, they're gonna fight. They're gonna be right there. So I think Vegas has the odds down. The Eastern Conference odds, they got the Nets. Same concept. Next, Nets, Bucks, Sixers, Heat, Hawks, Celtics, Bulls, Knicks, and that kind of looks all right. Western Conference: Lakers, Warriors, Suns, Jazz, Clippers, Nuggets, Mavericks, Blazers. That kind of looks right too. I think Minnesota should be up probably a little bit higher, but yeah. Um, See if we have any. They have some 2022 finals odds up here. Same numbers. They don't have. I don't see the MVP. I don't see the MVP stuff, but really don't need to. I really don't think I need to speak on the MVP stuff in terms of odds. I'll talk about it though. All right, so that's the futures. And I think all that makes sense. Injuries always play a big part in NBA season, obviously, but I think Vegas usually almost always has it right. Vegas is on. Vegas is on. So the games on. We get Nets and Bucks, and we get Lakers and Warriors. Two great games to start off the season. I think the season started a little bit too early, in my opinion. Just to quickly state on that, I thought preseason should be about 3 or 4 games spaced out pretty heftily over the first like couple weeks here. Probably should start it last week and then run into the season. Probably should, in my opinion, should have started. I don't know what the collective bargaining agreement says and none of that stuff. Haven't looked, but my opinion is the preseason probably should have started last week. Should have been about 3 or 4 games within these 2 weeks, between the 11th and the 22nd. 3 to 4 games for each team. Yeah, but 2 games a week. That would make sense to me. Tuesday and Saturday, maybe something like that. And then the season starting on the 28th. I think that would, But anyway, starts Tuesday the 19th. And some divisional winners, that Atlantic division. Let me just look at these divisions real quick. Let's just see here. So I had the Atlantic division with the Nets. It's either going to be a Nets, Celtics, Sixers. I actually think the Sixers will. Well, I don't know. I think that's a dogfight division. I don't think it's just the Nets to have. I think the Nets did have the number for the highest wins. I think they do have the number for the highest wins for Vegas bets. Vegas saying, but the Celtics, Nets, Celtics might be a little more healthier than Philly and Brooklyn. They'll rest Harden. They'll rest KD. And Vegas has already predicted the numbers with Kyrie out. The Central Division, it's the Bucks to lose. It's either going to be the Bucks or Bulls. Southeast Division, it's either going to be Atlanta or Miami. I'll just pick Atlanta. I think Atlanta will win that. Northwest Division will be Utah, Portland, Nuggets, and Minnesota. Once again, I think Minnesota's a sleeper. As long as they stay healthy, I think Minnesota has a really good chance. Don't think the Nuggets are going to be, unless Michael Porter just goes ballistic. Let's see, that's one of those breakout seasons. Nuggets are going to be struggling, and it'll probably end up being Utah. I think it's going to be Utah and Portland. I'll just pick Utah. They just seem to do really, really well in the regular season. I just don't think they're a playoff team. They're just not built for it. Pacific Division, I think the Warriors are going to get it. I do. Warriors, I don't think the Lakers will be very good unless they start off very good. if they start off rocky and shaky, this whole season will be shaky. But if they have some motivation, start off good and are running through people, they'll keep that momentum up. But they have to start off well. If they don't start off well, I don't think they'll do well. Then the Southeast Division is super interesting because this is totally up for grabs. Um, Mavericks make the most sense just with Luka because he's like the likely MVP person, even though I don't think he'll get the MVP. So I just don't think they have enough good players around him. He needs somebody else, not Porzingis. Memphis could get it. Memphis has a lot of good players, a lot of good wings, and they play good ball. As far as seeding goes, once again, Lakers come out gangbusters, they'll get that 1 seed. If not, it looks like it'll probably be like Warriors or Jazz or Suns. Lakers don't come out gangbusters, they'll be like 4 or 5. Suns will be somewhere in 1, 2, or 3. I think Warriors will be somewhere 1, 2, 3. Blazers will be somewhere 3 through 6, I'm guessing. The play-ins, who freaking knows? Clippers, I have no idea. They should stay consistent, so they'll probably be like 8-ish or something like that. So that'll be interesting. Western Conference Finals, I'm not going to predict any of that stuff right now. I just think it's early and kind of goofy. Obviously, Nets and Bucks make the most sense. As far as the Western Conference, you think Lakers and Warriors. That makes the most sense. Rookie of the year, I have no idea. A lot of good players. I think it's just really who gets the most opportunity. Maybe Jalen Green. I don't know if it'll be Cade. It could. I mean, Cade is on a Detroit team that has absolutely nothing. And it could be like a sleeper guy. There's a lot of good guys that came out this year. So the rookie of the year is going to be is a lot of consistent talent like Davion Mitchell. I like him a whole lot. I just don't know how much of the ball he's going to get in Sacramento and things like that. Defensive player of the year is probably going to go to Rudy Gobert again. 6 man. I mean, I don't even know who'll be coming off the bench. Tyler Hero does have to pick it up. I don't even know who all the guys. We don't really know how those lineups and stuff are going to go yet. So that's kind of like a crapshoot. You kind of just got to pick the guy from last year, Jordan Clarkson. But I don't know. Most improved. I don't know. And then MVP. I'm Kevin Durant plays. If he plays enough of the games, I'm going Kevin Durant all day long. I'm going one of the Brooklyn guys. Sleepers, not sleepers, but Steph, AD, Giannis. Those, the top guys. So yeah, it's just exciting to have the NBA season upon us, especially for me. I love basketball. I watch, NBA pretty much plays every day. I pretty much have a game on, flipping through games daily. I watch an insane amount of basketball. I don't even know if it's even. I mean, for a person that does not get paid to watch basketball, I watch way too much of it. But I love it. Always has since I was little. Since Mike brought me in, and the competition level, the game. I enjoy playing it. I enjoy coaching it. I enjoy watching it. It's just basketball. It's just, yeah. The first 2 games I'll be super excited to watch on Tuesday. They'll be two fun watches. I'll be pretty excited to see them. Just a basic prediction, even though I say I don't. It's just weird not to predict something. But I just don't want to. I really don't want to because injuries and things of that nature. I just think if I was put on the spot to predict something, I would probably say like I don't even know what Philly's gonna look like. I mean, I like Boston. They just have a big man. I just don't know how much the Nets are gonna hold up. But obviously, we would love to see Lakers and Nets with Kyrie. I mean, that's what we want to see. All things considered. That's what you want to see. Even though I'm kind of salty that the three guys on the teams are back, where I was super excited last year when it was just the the the, the two players. Everybody pretty much had two players until Harden got traded to the Nets. Then it came back, so it's kind of a downer. Like when it's the two guys, everybody's dispersed out. I don't like the three, even though I don't really consider Westbrook but whatever. Even Milwaukee, you're gonna get Giannis, but you don't always get Middleton and Drew. You're gonna get one when one's not going. They're not a consistent big three. They are a big three, but they're not a consistent big three in no way, shape, or form. And I feel like that's how the Lakers are going to be. They're not going to be a consistent big three in no way, shape, or form. But the Nets, Harden, Durant, Kyrie, consistent big three. Bosh, Wade, LeBron, consistent big three. Boston Celtics were a consistent big three. So that's just a little bit of a downer. I like when everybody it goes into a season where everybody has a chance. It just looks like if the Nets are healthy, they're going. If the Lakers are healthy, they're going. So that's the NBA season. That's a little bit of my prediction. I just want to talk about the futures. Pick those races, and I said if it comes down to it, MVP super hard to pick. But I think if Kevin Durant's healthy, he's gonna get it, and it'll be a fight with the guys. Just depending who's healthy. I just hate talking about it because I hate seeing injuries, and you just feel like you jinx guys a little bit. So, boom, and just parlay into that, just glancing over halftime into the WNBA Finals, NBA straight to the WNBA Finals. Shout out to Chicago Sky. I thought as long as, once again, health. I always talk about health. I think health is just dumb important. Health is wealth. Chicago Sky stay healthy. They were the best team. I thought they had the best players in the playoffs, and they were better than the Sun. They just had guys. Copper got the MVP. Shout out to her. Candace Parker going back home, pulling a LeBron. Come out home getting their first title. That was all too cool. And the WNBA exciting. It's gonna get a lot more exciting. There's some new blood coming out into the college ranks. They got to figure out something with that eligibility. Get those girls in the WNBA quicker. Fill up these teams with a lot of, they don't have a lot of teams. So if you fill up the teams you have with talent, then you'll be able to expand a little bit. See some talent. You don't necessarily need to see a bunch of dunking, but just excitement, shot making, good defense, some athleticism, some sizzle, some swag. That's what people want. People are supporting the girls, and they have a very good product that they put out there. They play the game the right way. They don't argue. They don't whine. They speak the truth. They stand up for stuff. It's a very, very cool organization, WNBA. They have something really good going. I know Kobe was going to be big in the WNBA. It looks like he was going to try to do his best to help elevate that, and I hope people remember that, and I hope people start to give the WNBA more and more love every year. I watched a good amount of the playoffs, I felt like. I watched some of the finals, not much, since I just kind of thought the Sky would handle business. I mean, if it went to, a game 5, probably watched the whole game. But I thought they would win last night. I know it was more dramatic than it probably should have been, but, they got it done. I thought the Sky would get it done. So, shout out to Chicago Sky, WNBA champ, Candace Parker, best shooter in the game, Allie, Quiggs, Vandersloot, Copper, some ballers on there. Brittany Griner, Hooper, Skylar Diggins, Hooper, Diana Taurasi, big out there. Barely could walk around, but super big out there. It was Diana being healthy would have been a lot different. I do totally agree with that. I wouldn't. I just thought with Diana being hurt that it was just too much for Phoenix to overcome. And that's why I thought the Aces would win. I definitely thought the Aces was going to beat them. And then I thought the Aces would have given the Sky a little bit more trouble, just depending on how Asia played and Cam Beige. I think Asia would have been very productive against the Sky. Her and Candace would have went at it, but Liz would have caused some, I think, some interior issues possibly, and just Brittany's better than Liz, but I thought Vegas had some players and they were healthier. Diana being hurt caused it's a little bit of a hamstring, shall I say? So, fourth quarter. One of my favorite shows on Showtime, Billions. It stars Paul Giamatti, Damian Lewis, Maggie Siff, David Costabile, Asia Kate Dillon, and Condola Rashad. Also, now the new villainish or guy is I don't even know what his name is, but season 5, spoiler alert, season 5 was excellent. It was interrupted by COVID. They had a COVID piece in there, which I thought they did very, very well. Paul Giamatti came back, lost weight, which was cool. It was a little shocking at first, but your eyes adjust super quick to him being slimmer, and you appreciate it. He recognized once again his health. I mean, I guess today's theme of Play Some D30 is health. Stay healthy, folks. Stay healthy. But yeah, Paul Giamatti and season 5. I'm assuming if you are watching the section of Play Some D, you've probably watched some Billions. So it's about wealth, influence, corruption, New York State AG, finance guy. That's Chuck Rhodes, which is Paul Giamatti, and Damian Lewis, Bobby Axelrod. They just do a very, very good job of going at each other. They team up at some point. I think in like season 3 or something like that. It's a back and forth, but it had a lot of intellectual aspects to it. I call it a penis swinging contest. I think it's a man's show. I think women can enjoy it too, but it's definitely a penis swing contest for sure. I've always said that. Some people don't like that. But just the intertwines of like the U.S. government, how people get, how they talk about how people get other people to get stuff done and do things and sway things their way, and how much money influences things. It's just a super cool show. Obviously, it's not the only one out there that does this, but I think the cast and crew of characters here does it really well. Some really good actors, and it's shot well, really nice. Axe Capital is such a cool, like, sleek place that makes you feel a little bit of power. You see Chuck sitting in the AG's office and his dad's house, and a lot of it's that little stuff gives me, I can't even lie, I think all that stuff is cool, and it embodies the show. Now with season 5, I thought it was all well done. I thought it was a really good season, but I'm kind of here to talk about probably the end for me. I will check out season 6, but obviously, spoiler again, Damian Lewis, Bobby Axelrod is done. It looks like there's opportunity, he says, that maybe he pokes in and out and maybe makes a return. But he's gone for season 6. There's the new guy in season 6. Let me get his name. It's hold on, let's see. Season 6. Season 6. Um, yeah, Mike. I can't think of. I never knew his name. I never even saw the guy until I never even saw Mike Prince's character. This guy act before until the show, but his name is Mike Prince, and he's gonna take over the villain role, I guess, that Bobby played. But that's the other thing with the show is that the villain kind of was a moving target. Chuck was the villain. This is good. It's just I don't know. I don't even call it villain or anything like that. It's kind of like they call it predator versus prey. And they kind of swap that. It's not really a villain. Wouldn't call him a villain. So yeah, Mike Prince is the new fixture with Chuck, and then everybody else falls in line. But I was gonna say the ending was a twist that I did not expect to happen. But I was worried that I don't want to see the same cycle happen over and over again. That is one thing that you don't really want to see. You don't want to see that same cycle. So it is a switch up. It does allow them to move forward with possibly at least 2 to maybe 3 more seasons. I'll check it out, but I just don't know how far I'll go with it. But overall, it's a super worth to watch. This is one of those shows that you can rewatch. It has replay value. Some of the sequences, some of the setups, some of the motives, the moves, the dialogue. The dialogue is huge. You don't catch necessarily in the first go, but watching it again and knowing what's gonna happen, this is definitely something you could watch. You can watch over again. So maybe I'll do that. There's other shows that I want to watch. I know Succession just dropped. Probably won't watch that, but I've watched Hightown. I know Hightown season 2 just dropped. I'm gonna check that out. Some stuff that I'll probably be coming in here and speaking on in terms of shows. This is like 2 shows, like the last. Well, Squid Game was just huge. I kind of had to talk about that, but Billions has always been one of my favorites up there with Snowfall. I did Snowfall episodes back, but all the people I named here, the original names of cast that I started this 4th quarter off with, they're all superior. Just really good actors, and they do it really well in this show. They play their roles to a T in this show, and that's what I honestly like, the most, to be quite honest. So yeah, that is episode 30, the big 3-0. It was really an episode where I know I stuck in there on the NBA season a bit, because there was some stuff that in my mind I wanted to speak on and talk about, but it's more so just thinking about it while I'm talking about it, and I didn't really want to do any of that. I kind of just wanted to speak on NBA season, a little bit of the predictions of what I thought, and everybody staying healthy. The predictions kind of, the Vegas odds kind of tell you everybody stay healthy. That's probably how it's going to look. Something like that. WNBA Finals, definitely want to touch on that. I didn't talk about the playoffs, which I probably should have, but I think that was one of the weeks where I skipped the week, super busy, and it didn't get in there. The Great Resignation, they're calling it, but the situation with jobs and giving people working wages and healthy and good hours and work-life balance. It's a big deal, and we'll see how it all gets handled. And then obviously just talk about in 4th quarter, a really good TV show on Showtime that's headed into season 6, Billions. Show is a really good show. So yeah, as always, thanks for watching. If you don't mind, I would totally appreciate any likes, any subs, notifications, let you know when I drop these on your head, dropping them, play some D. As always, until the next one, Holla.